Welcome back, everyone, to the Core Concepts series of Cryptognosia. I'm Iris, and we are thrilled to start the next part of our tokenomics walkthrough. Before we dive into the next layer of complexity, let me point out that if you haven't watched part 1, click this link to do it right now. In the first part, we explained what tokenomics is and how crucial it is for an investor to know how to decode it in order to determine an asset's structural health. We also covered all the main factors that shape tokenomics and how projects build security and stability by encouraging genuine long-term commitment through staking. But security and stability aren't just about staking, are they? It also really matters how the founding team and the early backers handle their tokens.
Oh, absolutely critical. That initial distribution and release plan is paramount for avoiding volatility and building trust. That's where vesting schedules are non-negotiable. Vesting just means that insiders, the team, early investors who may be bought through a MASH EFT, a simple agreement for future tokens, don't get all their tokens at once. They get gradual access over time.
So why is that so important for, say, someone like me who buys the token later on the open market?
Because, Iris, it directly prevents that nightmare scenario, the immediate rug pull or massive insider dump right after the token lists on an exchange. We look for a couple of key things in a vesting schedule. First, a cliff period. This is an initial time frame, often like 6 months or even a year, where absolutely no insider tokens are released, 0. Then after the cliff, the vesting schedule kicks in, releasing the tokens gradually, usually linearly, over a much longer period, maybe 2, 3, even 4 years.
So it smooths out the potential selling pressure.
Exactly. And alongside vesting, we need to look closely at the initial fair allocation. How was the total supply divided up from day one? What percentage went to the team, to private investors, to the public sale, to the project's treasury for future development? Let's say a healthier distribution might look something like maybe 50% for the community and public, 20% for the core team, but with that long vesting we talked about, and 30% for ecosystem growth or reserves.
Okay.
If you see a project where, say, insiders control 50% or more of the tokens and they have short vesting periods, that is a huge flashing red flag. It almost guarantees heavy selling pressure down the line, diluting the value for everyone else.
That makes total sense. It's all about aligning incentives for the long term.
Correct. That focus on gradual release, on commitment, that's what builds trust.
Which brings us to our final and arguably most vital area. Trust and transparency. This is really the investor shield.
Yeah, because let's be honest, there are risks out there. There certainly are. We have to acknowledge that smart contracts, the code running these tokens, can have bugs. They can have vulnerabilities. And malicious actors are always looking for ways to exploit those flaws, which can lead to, well, significant losses very quickly. The DeFi space, because it's less regulated, demands a healthy dose of skepticism.
So how does a project demonstrate it's serious about security and protecting users?
Well, the first line of defense, the absolute must-have, is the Audit Shield. This means getting rigorous smart contract audits done by reputable independent security firms. People know names like Certik or QuantStamp or BlockApex. These firms scrutinize the code, especially the critical parts like the token contract itself, the vesting mechanisms, the staking contracts, looking for flaws, ensuring they work exactly as described.
And having those audit reports public builds confidence, right?
Immensely. It bolsters the security posture and builds investor credibility. Seriously, if a project hasn't bothered to get audited or won't share the report, that should be your number one concern. Walk away. And transparency also extends to just disclosing information clearly. Projects absolutely must publish the release schedule for all tokens, including those not yet circulating. If the vesting schedule for the team or advisors is hidden, that's immediately suspicious. It often hides potential insider dumping. Opaque tokenomics enables fraud.
You know, it makes me think back to something infamous like Bitconnect. Everyone remembers the crazy promises like 40% monthly returns, which was obviously impossible. But the underlying tokenomic failure, Apollo, was the complete lack of transparency. No one knew how many tokens existed, how they were being created, who held them.
Exactly.
It was just this black box built on likely an inflationary model where the insiders could print or dump tokens whenever they wanted with no warning.
That's the perfect cautionary tale, Iris. Good tokenomics, meaning transparency in how tokens are allocated, a balanced and predictable supply, clear utility, and proof of rigorous auditing that's your best defense. It's how you move beyond just basic understanding and start to really assess if an asset has genuine structural health. It helps you cut through the noise quickly and effectively.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up then. The big takeaway is that tokenomics really is the fundamental blueprint. It distinguishes a project designed for a sustainable, long-lasting ecosystem from one that's maybe just built for a quick speculative pump. Understanding this economic structure is empowering.
It allows you to question the promises, to look at the underlying mechanics, and ask, does the math actually support the narrative?
That's a powerful thought. And listen, this deep dive is really just scratching the surface. This is the Cryptognosia Core Concepts series, after all. We'll definitely have future sessions focusing on even more practical skills. Things like step-by-step guides on how to actually read a project's white paper effectively, or how to analyze those vesting schedules yourself to spot potential red flags.
So thank you for joining us today for this really essential look at the foundations of crypto structural health.
Yeah, thank you all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, follow us on social so you don't miss those upcoming deep dives. And remember, now that you're armed with this knowledge, with Cryptognosia, you always have the gnosis, that essential knowledge, to truly understand the tokens.